welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for today's video. It is going to be another update in my whole collection project pan. This was a project that was started by BeckyLovesKanga, and my dear friend Emily invited a bunch of people to kind of come together just to work on this project together this year. We have an Instagram DM group where we just basically cheer one another along. So I will have a playlist or a spreadsheet, something down below that has everyone who is currently participating. I will also have Emily and Becky's channel linked down below. If you're new to this project, essentially my entire makeup collection is categorized in an Excel spreadsheet, and we randomly select 10 products to be working on at a given time, and it is rolling style. Last month was the midway through the year refresh, so we did bring 5 new products into this project last update. I do have one empty this update, so we will be rolling out one product. I will save that for the end to keep you guys on your toes, keep the suspense in your heart. But if you are interested in seeing my progress on all of the products that I have been working on, stay tuned first if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave today. I do post a minimum of 4 times a week, so if that's something that interests you, then don't forget to hit the red subscribe button before moving on. And other than that, let's just get into this update. All right, you guys, I am currently working on ranking all the foundations that I have purchased this year. So the foundation that I have on today doesn't necessarily match my tan. I feel like my face is looking a little bit pale, and I'm also testing a bunch of new products on my face. So I'm hoping it isn't a complete disaster on film. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm loving it in person. But like I said in the introduction, I do have one product that I'm going to be rolling out. We'll save that for the end. So let's jump into a couple of the products that have been going strong since the very beginning. So if you're not new to my project, we all know how I feel about this foundation. This is the Wander Beauty Nude Illusion Foundation. Not a favorite of mine. Not one I've enjoyed working with, not one I've enjoyed using, but I have committed so much to this foundation. I am bound and determined to finish this up. So when I brought this in, this was fairly new. We started up here, and I did make some decent progress. This was where we were last update, and this is where we are now. So I did make some decent progress between last update and now. I have found I do a full face of makeup even though I wear a mask at work. I have found that I like this for wearing to work. One, because half my face is covered by my mask, so it doesn't necessarily matter how the foundation's looking here. But if I set this with a powder, it does last a pretty good amount of time, and even with the mask, it doesn't wear off really weird like on my face. So like when I take my mask off to eat, it doesn't look like I'm a complete crazy person. So I have been trying to use this when I'm going to work. We're so close, you guys, but I do feel like this is going to be 2 more months before I roll this out. I would be really happy if I could finish this by the next update. I'm just not convinced. Another product that has been in since the beginning is this lipstick. This is Maybelline Baddest Beige, and you guys, my dog chewed up the paper that had my markings on it, which is such a bummer. So all I have to show you is where we are at with this rolled up right now. I don't have my tallies to keep track. I wasn't the best at using this consistently last month. I've definitely had months where I've been better about this. I do think by the end of the year I can finish this off. There's still a decent amount of product in this. Lipsticks do take me quite a bit of time to get through, but this is also a very wearable shade, and I am so convinced, so determined that I will finish this, and really want to finish this by the end of the year, just because I would love to say I have finished off a full-size lipstick, which I feel like I don't think I've ever done before. So I have a feeling this is going to take us right till the end of the project, but that is where we are at with that. And then this one has also been in since the beginning. I feel like I've been a little bit lazy with this one. This is a mini Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Hot Chocolate. I do really like the shade, but I do like the darker shades a little bit more in the fall time. So I feel like when we get to September, I will be wearing this a ton. I did finally take the stopper out of this one this month. I've also worked my way through a mini of Fussy this year, so I feel like I just haven't been as focused on the shade, but it is really beautiful. And if you want to just deepen up your lips just a little bit, this is a great product to toss on top of it. I don't really have, like, you can't see any wear away necessarily on this. And it's really messy now that the stopper is out. Oh, let me look. I have about half about half of this left. So I have found with the Fenty mini lip glosses, when the stopper's in, I will use it like 5 times and it already feels like I've run out of product. So I don't know if that's like a packaging flaw or what, but I have noticed that when you take the stopper out, you still have like at least half of the product left in the mini specifically. So I feel like this will take me a couple more months to finish off, but I know I can do this. I have gone through a full size of the gloss bomb. Like I said, I've already gone through a mini gloss bomb this year as well, so this will be done eventually. All right, next up, this one has been in for a few months now. This is the YSL Touche Eclat All-in-One Glow foundation. When I pulled this in, there was still quite a bit of product left. I was right here. I feel like I didn't mark this last month because I know this has been in for a few months now, but I am, by my best assumption, about right here now. There's still a little bit of product up here that could get smushed down. This is an airless pump. I've had an issue with getting mine to pump out as of recently. I do have mine in the shade, I always forget where it is on here. I don't know. This technically did expire in July of 2020, but my scent hasn't gone bad or anything, and I don't rely on this for the SPF 23 that's in it. So if the SPF isn't performing to the full potential, it's not a big deal for me. I'm always pairing with a sunscreen or SPF as well. So I, through consistent use, have decided that this is not something I would repurchase or bring back into my collection. I used to think that I loved this product. It could be a shade thing for me, but I just don't love the way that this sits on my skin anymore. I don't know. It's almost, I don't know how to describe it. I just don't love it like I once did, which is interesting because I feel like there are products that I think I don't like, and then through consistent use through a product, I really learned to love that product. And then there's other products that I think are like a holy grail, like favorite, but then through consistent use, I'm like, actually, I don't know that I will repurchase this when I finish. And this is one of those products, I just feel like for this sort of finish, I can get that in a less expensive tinted moisturizer or lightweight foundation, and this is really expensive. I don't think that this is a bad product by any means. I just think it is very expensive. Obviously, YSL is very bougie, and I think that there are less expensive alternatives that are going to give you a very similar effect. So for me, I won't be purchasing this one in the future. I do think I should be able to finish this within the next couple of months. This is obviously more of a deep shade, a perfect shade for me in the summer, so I would love to finish this up in the next few months because this is not going to match me in the winter time. All right, these next 5 products were all rolled in as of last update, and all of them have usage goals. So let's start with the Hourglass Ghost Quad. This actually was in this project at the very beginning of the year, and I used this brilliant nude shade 50 times before I rolled this out. This is the shade that we rolled in this time, which is in the shade Lucid Glow, and I used this a total of 6 times. My goal is to use this 30 times before rolling it out. It is a really pretty shade. I love the Hourglass blush formula. You guys know this, and this is a beautiful peachy shade. Perfect for this time of year. So I'm hoping to get a ton of use out of this in the month of August, because I feel like August, beginning of September, this will work really well, but then my makeup preferences kind of shift and change into more fall appropriate. Not that there's an appropriate time for anything in makeup, like it really is just what you feel like wearing, but I feel like I'm gonna get the most use out of this the next month. So I do need to use this another 24 times to hit my goal, so that is lofty. I have been layering this over a cream blush at times, and it's really pretty that way too. I am really happy that I decided to get this quad. When I first purchased it and hauled it, I told you guys that I thought, I can't remember what this was priced at, maybe $55. And the pan sizes are very small. However, blush takes me forever to get through, and when I use this 50 times and realize that like it really doesn't even look like I've used it all that much, like the dome has worn away some, but there's still so much product in this. I personally find that I think it is worth the $55 for me, and I'll be really interested to see the holiday palettes that Hourglass releases this coming year. So I also rolled in the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Luminous Light. I have such a weird relationship with this powder. I think I like it, then I hate it, then I like it again. I just go back and forth. So I have worn away quite a bit in the center of this, but I still have so much of this left. I don't really like to use this as a finishing powder because I just feel like it makes me look almost too glowy. But if I have, like, if I want to sharpen the line for my bronzer, I don't want to turn to the side right now because I feel like my bronzer is super just not applied the best today. So I should have used this today, but I will use this to like sharpen up my line for bronzer. Sometimes I'll use it underneath my eyes just to brighten up underneath the eyes a little bit. Occasionally I will use this as a highlight, and then sometimes I will also use this just to like help blend my eyeshadow together and make it more cohesive. So my goal is to use this 30 times. I used this 7 times the last month, so I do still have a ways to go with this. But I think I should hit my goal within the next couple months. This one is going to be a tough one. So out of my ABH Moonchild Glow Kit, I rolled in the shade Blue Moon. And I like to use this as an inner corner highlight, but I only used this 2 times, and I gave myself the goal of reaching for this 30 times. So I need to step it up. It's hard for me because I always reach for my Kat Von D Alchemist palette when I am doing like a colorful inner corner highlight. So I have to remind myself to use this. And I've even stuck this on my vanity to remind myself that it's in a project. And then the other day I was going to tally something on my sheet, and like I looked downwards and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot that the Moonchild Glow Kit is going in a project. So I only use this 2 times out of 30. This is going to be a tough one to hit my goal on, you guys. I just have a feeling this one's going to be tough. I was really bummed when I pulled out a shade from my MAC Ignite palette. I just don't think that this palette is the best quality. I rolled in this shade right here. I don't know. Let's see. 7 Wonders, I think is the shade. It is this super powdery. You probably won't even be able to see the pigment really, but there is it swatched. So I've been using this as a blush topper. I actually used it to top my blush today. I used a cream blush and then used it on top of my blush. My goal is to use this 20 times. I gave myself a lower usage goal because I just knew I didn't enjoy this palette that much. And I actually did reach for this 6 times this last month. Due to the shade, I feel like I need to step it up and really work on using this the next month as well, because I feel like I'm going to get the best use out of this one in the months of August and early September as well. So I do need to use this a total of 14 more times. I feel like if I was consistent, I could hopefully reach my goal on this in 2 more updates. So we will see. Not my favorite. Again, I've mentioned I really just need to like see if I can take all of this out and then just keep the packaging for a Z palette. I purchased this palette for the packaging and the packaging alone, but the product inside is actually a lot crappier than I had even originally anticipated, which is a bummer, but what can you do? And then I also rolled in a shade from my Tarte Clay Play palette last update. I'm not doing a usage goal on this one. I actually am trying to hit pan on this shade, which is the shade Smoke. I have been using this in my eyebrows and it's going pretty well. I have a pretty significant dip going in it. If I do not hit pan on this next update, I'm sure I will the update after that. I have reached into this palette a total of 11 times. Again, I'm not doing a usage goal, but I have been tracking how many times I've reached into this palette. I've also been using this shade as just a lid setting shade and just been trying to get some more use out of this palette because this definitely has been a neglected palette in my collection, but I'm hoping that I will have pan in that shade Smoke by the next update. Alright you guys, so that just brings us to the product that I finished up, and I did finally finish up this mini of the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Blurring Primer. I enjoyed this, and I feel like actually through consistent use, I enjoyed this more than I did when I wasn't using it consistently. This is obviously 100% done. I I don't think I would repurchase this just because I personally prefer the First Aid Beauty blurring primer. That one is a little bit more hydrating, whereas this one is a little bit more drying, and for me, I prefer more hydrating and I don't need anything that's super blurring. So while I think that this is a really nice blurring primer, and if you have really enlarged pores, I think you would really like this primer. This just didn't become something that I feel like will be a staple in my collection, so I do not feel the need to replace this. And you guys know I love primers. I'm constantly bringing new primers into my collection, so I don't want to repurchase something that I just don't feel like is an absolute necessity in my collection. So because we are rolling this out, this does mean we get to randomize and select one new product to roll in. So let me grab my phone. Okay, I'm actually really proud of myself as well because I have gone in and like finally re-updated my entire whole collection spreadsheet so it's more accurate. It has all of my newer products in it, and I believe I included, yes, I added all of my palettes to my spreadsheet as well. If I randomly select a palette, I'm just going to give myself a use goal on that palette as a whole, not necessarily to specifically work on a shade within that palette. And my goal is just always going to be to use the palette 20 times. Before this, I wasn't including eyeshadow or eyeshadow palettes in this project at all, just because I'm also doing the Pan Those Eyeshadows project, and I didn't want to overwhelm myself. But I thought that this would be a fun way if I do happen to roll in an eyeshadow palette, just to show extra love to one of the palettes in my collection. So I currently have 557 eligible items to choose from. So I'm going to go into the Pretty Random app, and I'm going to randomly generate a number between 1 and 557. I do have a rule that I don't want to be working on any more than 3 lip products at a time, and I have made a new rule that I don't want to work on any more than 2 products within a category in this project at a time. So like if I had 2 bronzers going, I wouldn't want to have a 3rd bronzer that I would be working on. But right now I should be good on all categories. Even if I select a lip product, it should be just fine. So we get number 413, and shockingly enough, number 413 is a palette. It is my Joseph Colors Baked Brown palette, which I really actually enjoy, and this one should be really easy for me to use. So I'm going to go grab that really quick and I will be right back. Alright, so here is my Joseph Colors Baked Brown palette. As you can see, I already have 2 pans in this palette. It would be really cool if I could hit one more eyeshadow pan through doing this, but it doesn't matter. As long as I use this 20 times, I will consider that a goal met. This should be really easy. It's like nice to actually have an easy product that's selected for you. I'm glad I'm not working on any more blushes or face palettes or whatever. But that is going to wrap it up for today's video and for today's update. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel as you always do. I hope everyone is having a phenomenal day and a great week, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.